Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on real-time data handling in mobile apps by Royal Cyber. My name is Victor Waz. I'm a business development manager at Royal Cyber, and I'll be your host and speaker for today. I've been working in mobile app sales for the past 8 years, and what I love most about this job is connecting with people to understand their requirements, objectives, and vision. Along with me, we have Samson Peter. He is our global practice head, and he is my co-speaker for today. Now, Samson is a pioneer in mobile technologies with almost 15 years of service in this industry. He holds a leadership position at Royal Cyber, and what he does is he helps businesses implement enterprise mobility strategy. Now, before we start, if anyone is not able to view my screen or hear me properly, kindly notify me in the chat window located at the right side of the pane. And lastly, we will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. But you could always feel free to post your questions in the window. So let's start off with a brief introduction about who we are. Now, Royal Cyber is an IT consultant and a digital transformation company. It specializes in services, solutions, and software. It has been innovating since 2002 with 1,000 plus employees and 600 plus happy clients worldwide. Across the globe, Royal Cyber provides reliable and high-performing solutions and services in commerce, cloud, analytics, mobile, AI, and middleware integration. Being headquartered in Naperville, Illinois, we have offices located in different parts of the world, namely Canada, Mexico, Australia, UK, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, and then we have our delivery centers in India and in Pakistan. We are proud partners with the largest and the biggest names in business, such as IBM, Microsoft, Amazon, Google Cloud, Dell, and the list goes on. We also take pride in being able to work with the biggest names in business, such as Capital One, American Express, Augusta Sportswear, Premier Health, Fletcher Building, and many other Fortune 500 companies across the globe. So the agenda for today is introduction to the PubSub pattern. We will be discussing the use cases for PubSub. We will take a quick glance at who are the top service providers for PubSub. And in the end, we will demonstrate how easy and simple this is through a quick demo. So we'll start off with an introduction to the PubSub pattern. What is PubSub? Now, PubSub, the short version for publisher subscriber, is a non-contemporary messaging service that decouples services which produce events from services that process events. In layman terms, a PubSub system is a system where a content consumer can ask to receive updates from a publisher. If it's still confusing, let me go ahead and break that down for you. So in real life, your monthly subscription to a magazine is a PubSub pattern. Similarly, the concept of friending people on social network is also a PubSub pattern. So you can use PubSub as messaging-oriented middleware or even ingestion and delivery for streaming analytic pipelines. So PubSub offers durable message storage and real-time message delivery with high availability and consistent performance at scale. PubSub servers run in all Google Cloud regions around the world. There are many advantages for this as well. So the first advantage is it eliminates polling. PubSub messaging provides significant advantages to developers who build applications that rely on real-time events. Message topics allow instantaneous push-based delivery, eliminating the need for message consumers to periodically click or check the poll for new information and updates. This promotes faster response and reduces the delivery latency that can be particularly problematic in systems where delays cannot be tolerated. Next, we have the dynamic targeting. So PubSub makes discovery of services easier, more natural, and less error prone. Instead of maintaining a roster of peers that an application can send messages to, a publisher will simply post messages to a topic. Then any interested party will subscribe to its endpoint to the topic and start receiving these messages. Subscribers can change, upgrade, multiply, or disappear, and the system dynamically adjusts. Next, we have the decouple and the scale independently. So PubSub makes software more flexible. Publishers and subscribers are decoupled and work independently from each other, which allows you to develop and scale them independently. You can decide to handle orders one way this month, then a different way next month. Adding or changing functionality won't send ripple effects across the system because PubSub allows you to flex how everything uses everything else. And last on the list is simplify communication. So communication and integration code are some of the hardest code to write. The publish-subscribe model, which is the PubSub model, reduces complexity by removing all point-to-point connections with a single connection to a message topic, which will manage subscriptions to decide what messages could be delivered to which endpoints. Fewer callback results in losing, coupling and code that easier to maintain and extend. Now, how to use PubSub? There are many ways that one can think of or figure out how to use PubSub, but let me go ahead and list down a few for you. So the first on the list is the balancing workload. All right, so balancing workload in network clusters. Now, for example, a large queue of tasks can efficiently be distributed among multiple workers, such as Google's compute engine instances. Then we have implementing asynchronous workflows. For example, an order processing application can place an order on a topic from which it can be processed by one or more workers. After that, we have distributing event notifications. And for this, it is a service that accepts user signups and that can send notification whenever a new user registers. It could also downstream services which can subscribe to receive notifications to an event. So every time a new user registers, you would get a message. Every time someone subscribes, they'd receive a notification for the event. Then you have refreshing distributed caches. And for this, an application can publish invalidation events to update the IDs of objects that have been changed. Logging into multiple systems. For example, a Google compute engine instance can write logs to monitoring systems to a database for later on queuing, and so on. Then we have data streaming from various processes or devices. And for this example, a residential sensor can stream data to backend servers hosted in the cloud. And last but not the least, we have the reliability improvement. For this example, a single zone compute engine service can operate in additional zones by subscribing to a common topic to recover from failures in a zone or in a region. Next, we have what makes PubSub real-time. Now, this is the main question, and this is the main agenda for the meeting as well. So PubSub is a model which we understand. It helps you get messages across really quickly. But how does these things happen in real time? So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, all data transmission to and from a device uses something that's called a socket. Now, unlike an electrical socket, a socket in this case isn't exactly a physical thing, but there are a lot of parallels. There's a lot in common. If I plug my phone into an electrical socket, I receive a flow. If I'm connected to that socket in computing, a socket allows for sending and receiving data. So it works the same way, but different in nature. Now, this is where PubSub is so awesome, since how it works is when a message is published, it will be delivered to all subscribers anywhere in the world within 1/4 of a second. Not only that, it can handle enormous volumes of subscribers, millions of them, and still get those messages delivered within the same amount of time, that is 1/4 of a second. Now, if the implications above are impressive, you can now see where the real time comes in. For real time, we can create an application that serves up data in real time. Similarly, all the subscribers of that data will get that data in under 250 milliseconds globally. That's 1/4 of a second. So for real time, we just need to create an application that monitors that, and once that's done, we get the same results. But one very important thing is the infrastructure, because the infrastructure is what makes a lot of difference. Now, in short, one needs to be sure of an infrastructure that provides high availability. Now, these days, companies offer cloud services mainly because of their rate of response, and you don't have to end up spending too much of time building a server on-prem. But even if you're working with an on-prem hosting server, you need to make sure that that server has high availability. That's one, and the response rate needs to be optimum. So, with all of that said, what kind of an impact does PubSub make in the market? So we'll go ahead and discuss the following use cases for us to understand, how good PubSub is and how does it work with different industrial verticals. So we'll start off with financial. Now, information is the lifeblood of the financial services industry. And forward-thinking firms are using event-driven architecture, IoT, and mobile technology to create innovative new offerings for their clients. Now, in order to compete in the shrinking world and to comply with increasingly stringent regulations, they need to have a solution that's fast and real time. So every time an algorithm initiates a stock trade, or a customer requests their balance, or converts currency, event-driven messages flow through sophisticated front end and into the back office systems responsible for executing transactions in a way that's guaranteed, legal, and secure. So what does PubSub do? It helps people every time you need to find out what the stock prices are, every time you need to request your balance, every time you need to convert currency, all those things happening in real time quickly and efficiently and securely is something that we manage through PubSub. Now, PubSub enables the low latency, high volume distribution of those messages so that event-driven financial services leaders can improve agility, efficiency, and ultimately customer satisfaction. It's the premier advanced event broker for financial services institutions. Next, we have the retail. So with PubSub, all the operations and systems are connected so that the information needed in real time is available, especially when it matters most to customers. How does this work? When an order for a pair of jeans is placed through an e-commerce platform, for example, entrusted applications such as an inventory and CRM receive notifications that in turn trigger a stock check, events which lead to the order being shipped to the customer. So there's an entire chain of things that happen. But in order for the order to be received by the customer, all these other departments need to be notified instantly. You need to find out whether this thing is in stock, whether the information is reaching the other place, the order is going to be processed, and so on and so forth. So, these things happen with the help of PubSub. Now, once the order is fulfilled, suppliers get automatically notified to refill the shelf in the warehouse, and the event gets ingested by the analytics service. An email now can also be sent to your customer with an offer for another product that complements the initial order. You could offer up a t-shirt or sneakers that could actually go on with the jeans. But all these things happening in real time. So it doesn't take so long, but it happens in real time. Everything goes very quickly so that the user, before he's out of the application, he gets notifications for the next. Moving on, we have the transportation logistics. So PubSub helps transportation and logistics service providers to monitor and manage assets on the move through the unpredictability of traffic and weather. Now, these are some serious concerns. If you're in the transportation business, you would understand that traffic, weather, these are the biggest downers that actually cause a lot of problem. But how does PubSub help? The first one is the air traffic control. So PubSub enables the next generation of SAFE. It's efficient air transportation by routing aeronautical flight and weather data that actually gives these transportation companies the edge of what they need to look forward to when they're out there. Other than that, it's got the positive train control. So PubSub helps large railroad operators establish a flow of real-time data between locomotives, sensors, and switches. It's got the smart transportation. PubSub enables transportation agencies to collect real-time data from connected vehicles and roadway infrastructures like traffic lights, gantries, parking meters, so that they can analyze every condition while they're on the road. And last is the track and trace. So by enabling the collection, filtration, and flow of real-time information between globally dispersed scanners, sensors, and back-end systems, PubSub can help transportation and logistic companies maintain a more up-to-date picture of where all their assets, packages, passengers, and vehicles are at any given moment. Whenever they pick up the application or whenever they're looking to track, with the help of PubSub, they would know their exact location without any lags or glitches. Now, this lets them quickly identify problematic solutions with their own operations, external conditions like the weather, the road, traffic jams, closures. It helps them identify the problems, whether it's a problem that's happening internally or whether it's external problems that they can actually handle. And all of that is possible through PubSub. Next on our list, we've got the gaming. And multiplayer gaming also uses PubSub, where you can keep an eye on every view of your teammate and your enemies at the same time in real time. Other than that, we have the online poker, race, and sports betting, and many more places where a premium on-system availability and responsiveness, it makes it easy for you to go ahead and play the game. At the same time, you could also scale things up. So if there are going to be times where you're going to have off-peak activities, and there are going to be times where there's extremely high activities. PubSub is made in such a way that it could correspond to all those times. If you have a high time or a low time, your application would be scalable enough to handle those situations. So PubSub lets gaming companies create a scalable infrastructure that ensures ultra-fast gameplay. It supports burst usage patterns and enables real-time fraud detection. Next, we have the taxi dispatch app with geolocation. So, isn't a fleet of cabs always on the move? With PubSub, we can have each car in the fleet publish its current location every couple of seconds, and anyone who subscribes will be able to see their updated location on a dynamic map. All those cars can be seen moving in real time. If it's a rush hour, you can see how many are not moving at all. Now, these publishes, they happen every couple of seconds by each car, and this actually creates a good stream for geolocation data in real time. And last but not the least, we've got social media and entertainment. So with PubSub, the creation of engaging social interactions that enhance your apps is much easier and effective. From dating apps to social workouts, in-app chat and mobile push through PubSub redefine interaction. I mean, you could have a dating application, a social workout, whatever the application may be. With the help of PubSub, you're going to get things faster. So let's take a look at what things are possible with PubSub. Now, it increases user engagement with live and remote audiences. It's power of geographically aware, scalable dating apps within chat. It increases user engagement with live and remote audiences. Driven event-based engagement with Moss chat and live polling. It engages users with location-based matching and mobile alerts. It spices up your application with fun and interactive GIF engines and manages with content moderation and filtration. And it brings social interactions to communities and shared interest groups. So if I had to give an example, even the most high-powered workout apps deliver high-energy workouts with real-time interactivity and motivation, because that's something that's needed, real time. when you have your instructor in front of you working out, and if you can't make it to the gym, but you're sitting at home and you want to, especially during the lockdown, when you couldn't make it to the gym, you have these kind of applications where the instructor is right in front of you through a video call, and he's actually making things happen real time. And that's exactly what it does. So with PubSub, powered features enabled workouts are able to improve the engagement and connectors between its members, and that it actually enhances the core experience of the application. So moving on, we'll take a look at who are the main service providers for PubSub. First on our list is Pubnub. And Pubnub, they are the winners of 2020 Best Communication API Award. And they come in with a lot to promise. So Pubnub provides a technology infrastructure that delivers real-time solutions such as advanced PubSub messaging, presence, mobile push notifications, storage and playback, functions, blocks. The security is always a strong emphasis, which is why the following are always in place. They've got encryption, access control, authorization schemes, attack prevention, legislation and compliance. And the result is that Pubnub, you can easily scale up. Pubnub processes 5 times the data that Twitter does. The best part is that that number is only increasing. On the other hand, it works everywhere, so no compatibility headaches. It has 70 plus SDKs, and that allows work across all devices and apps on all types of networks. And lastly, which is their strongest claim, which is 5 nines, that is 99.999% on SLA, which means data durability, latency, scaling, and security are rock solid. You're not going to face any problems using their services. Next on the list, we have the Amazon SNS. Now, the Amazon Simple Notification Service, which is known as the Amazon SNS, is a fully managed messaging service for both systems to system and app to person communication. It enables you to communicate between systems through the PubSub pattern, and that enables messaging between microservice applications or to communicate directly to users via SMS, mobile push, and email. It provides benefits that make communication relatively simple and efficient, and these include modernize and decouple your application, reliably deliver messages, fan out messages directly to 1 million users, and automatically scale the workload. Now, it is by no means short on features, and some of them are message filtering, message fan out, message durability, message encryption, message privacy, mobile notifications, SMS and email messages, event sources, and destinations. It's power-packed with features. Next, we have the Google Cloud PubSub. Now, with scalable in-order message delivery through pull and push modes, auto-scaling with support from 0 to 100 of GPs per second, independent coda, simplify multiple region systems, Google by no means can be left behind. And let's take a look at its features. So its features include stream analytics and connectors, in-order delivery at scale, cost-optimized ingestion with this PubSub Lite. So complementing the PubSub, PubSub Lite, which is in beta right now, aims to be the lowest cost option for a high volume event ingestion. PubSub Lite is zonal and puts you in a control of capacity management. It comes along with a lot of features, and they include at least once delivery to ensure per message recipient tracking. It has open API and client libraries in 7 languages. It has exactly once processing, no provisioning, auto everything, compliance and security, Google Cloud native integrations, third-party and OSS integrations, seek and replay, filtering, and dead letter topics. Last on our list today is Solus PubSub Plus. Now, Solus PubSub Plus is a complete event streaming and management platform for real-time enterprises. Solus PubSub Plus helps enterprises design, deploy, and manage event-driven architectures across hybrid cloud, multi-cloud, and IoT environments so that they can be more integrated and event-driven. Now, the benefits of Solus PubSub Plus are it streams events and other data across your distributed enterprise quickly, reliably, and securely. It develops event-driven apps and microservices much faster. It integrates anything, so it can connect and enable bi-directional communication between diverse legacy applications, modern microservices, cloud services, edge to IoT gateway, and much more. It improves performance and reliability across distributed systems, and it can manage your events ecosystem, having a single place to design, create, discover, share, secure, and manage all events. Solus PubSub platform excels at event streaming and management for a transactional and operational use cases like event-driven microservices, hybrid multi-cloud event distribution and management, event-driven integration, IoT enablement, and real-time applications. So that actually brings us to the end of the presentation session, and we're going to be moving into the demo session. But for more details on who's the best provider, we could always go ahead and connect, or you could put in a message in the message box, and then we could answer that at the end of the session. For now, I'll be handing over the controls to Samson Peter, who has prepared a quick demo to show you how simple and quick this is. So over to you, Samson.
Thank you, Victor. So in this live demo, we are going to show how mobile app is basically connecting to a publisher and receiving messages. So for mobile connectivity, we are using MQTT library, and mobile app is written on React Native. For publisher, we are using HiveMQ Enterprise Broker. So before we jump to a live demo, I want to explain what exactly is MQTT. So MQTT is a client library. You can it's an open source client library, and MQTT protocol is supported by all the PubSub service providers, including Amazon, Pubnub, Solus, and Google Cloud PubSub. MQTT is basically a lightweight protocol and a standard for IoT messaging. It's lightweight. It's reliable. It has reliable message delivery. It supports unreliable network. It's bidirectional, and it's very easy to scale. So the history of MQTT is that MQTT specification was published by IBM to OSs, and the first project where they basically used MQTT was to monitor a oil pipeline going through a desert through IoT device. So this is one of the reason that MQTT supports unreliable network, because at the very beginning of when MQTT's concept came into existence, they had to use this for a remote IoT project, and it turned out the results were pretty promising. And since then, the IoT for IoT messaging, MQTT is pretty much the standard. Okay, for our MQTT broker, we're using HiveMQ. Although we can use Solus or Amazon or Google Cloud, but for easy, I'll say for the sake of simplicity, we're using MQTT Enterprise Broker's web client. So we're using public broker. So this is public broker's URL, and it's hosted on port 8000. This is the client ID. So since this is a public broker, it doesn't require user ID or password. We will simply connect. Okay. For publisher, we have a topic, test topic /3. This is where we will publish all our messages. So the idea is that mobile client will basically subscribe to this topic, and whenever we publish some message to this topic, any subscriber, including mobile or web, will receive the message. So in our case, basically we have uh, this WebSocket client. This also has a subscriber. So we will subscribe to same topic. So whatever message we are sending, we are publishing to test topic /3. We can also view if we can also view the receiving on this web interface. Um, for mobile app, we have a PubSub. We have a PubSub client created using React Native. So I'll use browser stack to demonstrate that. This is the source code. Okay, so we have used the public brokers host settings, port, client ID can be any string, and this is where the magic is happening. This whole example and this MQTT library is freely available on web. So basically, this is where all the delegates and callback methods are setting up. So we are connecting, and after connecting, we are subscribing on test topic 3. Same, and this is where we will be publishing all our messages. Okay, the app is okay. The app is up and running. So we will send first message, publish. Okay, so since this web panel is also subscribed on test topic 3, it's also one of the subscribers. So we have received one message on web and one message on mobile device. Demo publish. Yeah. So second message is also published. So it's the same terminology. We can keep on publishing a message, and mobile device will keep on receiving these messages. Yeah, the idea is again what we have explained how PubSub works. So what makes it real time? Real time is not just the technology itself, but it's also the infrastructure. So if you want to use this real time messaging in a commercial application, you need to have top notch, and high availability infrastructure. This is one of the reason why most of the service providers are basically using are basically offering cloud services, so they can offer the infrastructure that companies and applications can rely on. Previously, as you know, that before the cloud era, there were only a handful of companies that could afford that sort of infrastructure. Now, because of cloud services, this infrastructure can be used by anyone who's willing to use these hosted services. That's it from the demo part. Over to you, Victor. Thank you.
Thank you, Samson, for the demo. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. You have been great, and it was a pleasure hosting you. If you have any questions or if you want to reach out to us, feel free to email us at info@royalcyber.com. You could contact us on the numbers that you see on the screen right now. Thank you, and stay safe.